Hello, welcome back to the little Welsh cottage. A purchase I made turned up yesterday of pure organic green tea. Now this is how it arrived. So I counted the bags. Now there should be 250, but there's only 227. So I will have to send a note to Amazon and see what they suggest. If you pay for 250, you want 250, don't you? So I'm going to try having green tea in the mornings. Now the time is 11 o'clock, but I have been up since about 7. One of the problems of working from home is it's very easy to start work the second you wake up. Right, let's make some tea. I've set the timer because I only want it to steep for 3 minutes. Because if you go over 3 minutes, it becomes a bit bitter. I've also got some local honey, Tonarefel honey, just to take the edge off it a bit. Just dip the spoon in, let it just drip off because I only want a tiny piece. I should get one of those, although I think I may have one somewhere. Those special spoons for working with honey. There you go, that's enough. Just a little dribble. Big question is, do you keep your honey in the fridge or do you keep it in the cupboard? I'll put it there for the time being. Right, so that is counting down 3 minutes. So yes, I'm gonna have to see what they suggest, because I'm missing bags. I don't care if they just put, what is it, 18 bags or whatever the difference is. Just pop that in the post. Right, I'm going to make my breakfast. Now I've got this sourdough, which I've had for about a week now. 6 days. It still smells fresh. It's amazing. Yesterday was about 26 degrees and it was boiling. Today it's freezing. So much so that I've got the heating on. Also as well, I put some clothes out yesterday, thinking that today was going to be sunny as well. So I didn't bring them in last night. And when I woke up, the ground looks a bit damp, so I've had to put them upstairs and I've had to put the heating on just to try and dry them out. Right, I'm watching that clock. There's another minute left apparently. So while I make my breakfast, I'm going to have some Bungay butter, which is made with raw milk. Just have 2 slices of sourdough. At some point I will look into making my own, but I understand it's a complicated process. There you go, that's my tea done. So I may leave it until the winter, when we've got a bit more time. I'm going to go down to the homestead today. I just want to go and check on a few plants. A few of the things I bought are still in their pots, so I just want to check that they're doing fine. That's why I'm quite pleased to see the drizzle of rain come through this morning. I think we've got this rain all day, and then it's going to go back to nice weather next week. Right, what else am I going to do? Let me put some of this butter into a saucepan because I'm going to make scrambled eggs. I have started putting salt back into my food. I don't know why, but I stopped putting salt in many years ago. I'm going to bring these teachers out because I need to take some. So I'm using Dorset sea salt at the moment, just a little pinch. I'm putting them into my eggs. There we go. And a new thing I'm trying is, so today's the first day, is to drink 2 cups of green tea before 12 o'clock and not having a proper cup of tea until after 12 o'clock, so that I don't wake up and start putting caffeine into the body. So I've been reading about all the health benefits of green tea. Oh, that's still a bit too hot, that is. Let that cool down a bit. Right. Another big question that has been asked throughout the ages is, how many eggs do you put in your scrambled egg? In fact, that was a discussion in a cafe the other day. Is somebody was ordering scrambled eggs, and they asked the question, how many eggs are in your scrambled eggs? And there was a big discussion in the cafe. I said you have to have at least 2 eggs for them to be scrambled, whereas others thought you can just have 1 egg and scramble that 1 egg. I still think it has to be 2 or more eggs for it to be scrambled. So 2 eggs, and I'm going to put some egg whites in as well. What's the date of that? 24th of July. Well, that's next week, I think, isn't it? Look at this, nearly coming up to August. Christmas before we can laugh. Bit of pepper in there as well. Do you tend to stick to the same breakfast? I find I tend to have the same breakfast for quite a while, and then I'll change it up and have my skyr yogurt, and then I'll change it up and use, so I'll change my mind every 6 months or so. At the moment I'm on the eggs, and I'm going to have a few mushrooms with that as well. Somebody asked me this week why I didn't have a microwave, and I said there is a beauty in just standing by the cooker waiting for things to cook. Right, I've got 6 mushrooms, so I'll have 3 today and 3 tomorrow. It forces you to relax a bit. Because I was thinking the other day, let me give these a quick little wash. I was thinking the other day about my electric kettle. And I was thinking, it is all well and good having an electric kettle and flipping the button, and then you've got tea in about 20 seconds. But when I first came here, it was a relaxing aspect of the day that you put the kettle on, and I put it on the stove, and it would take about 10 minutes, 15 minutes to make a cup of tea. And just that moment of just standing here and waiting for the kettle, or going off and doing something else, because I had a whistle kettle, which I've still got, but I may take it down to the shed. But just standing here, waiting for things to come to a boil, it just gives you that opportunity just to have a rest during a busy day. I'm just going to have a bit of this butter and pop it into my mushrooms, I think. This is coming to an end. I'll have to get some more. I wanted to buy a big slab of it. And then what I usually do is I cut it up and I put it into the freezer. I must check the freezer, in fact. See what I've got in store, because I haven't been shopping for a while. I've still got 2 milks left, so that's fine. But I will have to do a shop at some point next week, I think. Also, I want to try and find some time to get back into my cooking, so we can cook something else from out of these books that we had. I'm already started to see that there is a pattern to being here. How the spring and summer is quite busy. Busy in the garden, getting the homestead done. And then obviously in the winter, based on what happened when I first moved into this house, there was a lot more time to do things like trying to do bread or trying to make my own butter. I will be doing that again. I've got the churner up on top of the fridge there. Oh, that honey. I think I put a bit too much in there. Oh, yes. So I've decided this is now going to be my green tea cup. Right. I'm just going to stand here and wait for my breakfast to cook. And I'll catch up with you in a bit. Nice to see that the antirrhinums are finally coming into flower. I was thinking about this window and how I can protect it for the winter. Because last year I didn't have any curtains up. And I think that's what contributed to the cost of the bills. So this year I'm thinking about getting a blind. And I've seen a fantastic design by William Morris called Fruits. So I'm just trying to find a tape measure. I have about 4 of them in the house somewhere. Once I find one, I will measure it and send off for a price. I thought I fancy a bit of ham for a sandwich, but my local butcher's was closed. So I ended up going down Troki, and I've just got back, soaking wet, but it is now muggy. Very muggy indeed. One of these, you know, I've got one of these for the kitchen. I've got another one, but in blue, for the bathroom. I've also got, and it's turned up at the right time, a fan. Because I have one fan, which is upstairs, but you get more exhausted for the fact that you have to go up and get the fan, then bring it downstairs. Then you decide to go upstairs to do something, then it's hot upstairs. So you spend half your day just moving your fan around the house, and that makes you hot. So I've got one for downstairs as well. Now, how does that fit into there then? Aha. I have worked it out, I think. Now, I warn you now, if you live in the area, I have bought a fan. Which means it's probably going to rain now for the next couple of months. So I apologise in advance. I found this in the past. When you buy, it can be sunny for weeks and weeks. And I think I'll buy a pair of sunglasses. And then from that moment onwards, it just rains. Or with a pair of shorts. This might end up going on my desk. Because I think it looks rather nice. It was on sale, so I thought I'll have a bit of that. Although, I was thinking this the other day, they put all the machinery at the back. It should be at the front, because it's a bit of a chore trying to get your hand around. Right. This seems fairly easy to put together, he said. While I was in Torquay, I popped into Too Good to Waste, and there wasn't a lot there that I fancied today. It was mostly big stuff. Ah, I've lost a screw. I've got a screw loose. Right, do I need to... Oh, I think I need to get a screwdriver. One area of the house that I'm going to tackle really soon, and I know people will say, you should do that stuff in the winter, when you can't go out. But the problem is, I want it sooner than later, and I can't wait. Is I'm going to tackle the area that is... Hold on. Let me just slide my screw in the hole. I'm going to tackle the area under the stairs, because I want to turn it into a bit of a pantry. Now, ideally, it will be used for storing my own vegetables, but because I'm still in that stage of getting the garden ready, at the moment I can just use it for the endless toilet rolls that I've bought and tea bags, because I've got loads of tea coming out of my ears from all over the world. So I think I'll put that in the pantry as well. So at the moment I'm trying to work out the best layout for the pantry. So I'm thinking a few shelves. But I looked in there this morning, because the cats haven't been there. They've only been there once this morning. And they won't be going in again, because there's too many parts where they can slide between the walls. And I don't want to be pulling the walls down just to get the cats out. So I thought the easiest option could just be to buy a table and then build shelves off the table. At the moment my bike is being stored there, so I have to find somewhere else where I can store my bike, my push bike, the one that I brought down, not the electric bikes. The electric bikes, like I said before, I like them, but I don't like them. There are certain things about the two bikes that I've got that I don't like. So I've spoken to the company and they've agreed to come and collect them. One of them is just far too heavy, and unfortunately that is the bike that has a lot of power. But for me to bring the bike into the house, I have to come down a few steps, and it's just far too heavy. I can do it, but then I'm exhausted. I think I am missing a screw. I think I am. He's got a... Right, I'm going to have to take one of these screws off. There always seems to be something these days. You buy things and you don't get your whole quarter of tea bags, or you have a screw loose. Gone are the days where people seem to be proud of doing a good job. And then the other bike that I've got, the folding bike, doesn't handle the hills in this part of Wales that well. Well, it doesn't handle them at all. You start going up, and then a quarter of the way up you've got to get off it and push. Which the whole point of an electric bike is to get you up the hill. Like the like the other one that I've got. And I love the design of the other one as well, the green bike. It reminds me of 1940s. But it's got this weird thing that when you turn the handle, the basket stays in the same place. So it slightly plays with your mind a bit, because I would expect the basket to move in the same direction that the handle goes. But I'll show you all this when I finally get around to releasing the video. Oh, summer will be over by the time I get this finished. Apparently the heat wave is coming back next week. I don't know if that's correct, but... And also, these comments, when I say things like, oh, it's 28 degrees here and we can't cope with the heat, somebody will always come up and say, I live in Arizona and it's 52 degrees here on a regular basis. Well, what do you want? An award? You choose to live in that place. I didn't. And then you get some people going, well, I live in Iceland, so you should be happy with 28 degrees. It's like, it's not a competition. Oh, it's a bit stiff, I'll tell you that. For note. Let's hope it, look, I can see the sweat coming off my chin. I do like the brass colour though. Oh, we'll switch this on now and just have a lay down and be fanned all afternoon. There you go. There we go. This is what I'm going to get up to now for the rest of the day. Oh, then it's got a good bit of force on it as well. Oh, yes. Oh. Cool myself down now and then have a nice cup of tea. Oh. Sweating cobs here. I've come down to the shed on purpose on a rainy day. It's been raining all day and there's still a bit of drizzle going on. And I wanted to come down because I just wanted to check how that roof was doing. Now the stuff I've put on there seems to be a felted plastic sheeting. The previous guy left it, so I was told I could use it. So I thought I'd come down and just check on the shed to make sure that it is working, because I don't want the shed to be destroyed just for a hairbreadth of rain. So I thought I'd spend some time down here. And I brought some milk, water, and I might try and fire up the kettle. Something else I've brought down is one of the gifts that you sent me at the start of the year, which are some lights, because as you can tell it's about 10 to 8 now in the evening and it's a bit dark in here. And if you've been watching for a few years you would already know, but for the new ones, I tend to spend more time in my growing space and in my shed during the winter. So I must get this winter ready. So we'll have to do a list of things that I need. So I've got well, I'm going to set up the stove now. The stove will give off a bit of heat, and then I need to work out lights. Now I don't think I've got them, I don't think I brought them with me when I moved, but the best setup I had was a few years ago, where I had a strip light, and I also had these down lights. I had two of them, and you could put them all on at the same time or as an independent, and they were connected, if I remember correctly, to a leisure battery, which then had a solar panel connected to it. And I set the thing up, and I had it for about 5 or 6 years, and I never had any problem with it whatsoever. So I don't know whether the battery was still using the juice that was in there, because I never charged it up, or that the system was actually working, because back in those days I didn't have an indicator to tell me that the battery was charging. But these days I've seen Rick Van Man did it in his shed many years ago. He had a little monitor so he could see whether the battery was charging up again. So that's what I will have to look into. Again, all comes down to cost, so I might have to wait until the next payday. But yes, once we get the lights in here, then I can use it all year round. Now, you would have to be a very old viewer, possibly 10 years, to remember this. I picked this up in an auction in London, and it got shelves on, and what I was using it for then was for seeds. January, February, March, April, so on. So it will be good to get that back into service. I'm not going to paint this. I know I'm a bit obsessed with painting at the moment. I'm not going to paint that. I will leave that natural wood. But something that I will paint is this that was handed down to me the other week. So I will paint this, possibly in a green colour. Something very similar to this colour here. What I'm going to use this for, I do not know just yet. But you can never have too much storage space. Might have to put a bit of butter on that. Make them shoot out a bit more. Better check. I wonder if anybody's hidden any £20 notes at the back there. No. What a pity. I just took my fleece off because it's a bit hot here. And the problem I'm finding with sheds over the last few years, they're making them smaller and smaller, and I already hit my head. So unless I'm standing here, I'm hitting my head. So what I will do in time, maybe when I'm building the greenhouse, which I would like to get done by the end of September, I might raise the roof about a foot, just so I can freely walk around the room without banging my head on the ceiling. Right, cup of tea time. Come on, Nick, get a cup of tea on a go, boy. I also bought the same tea caddy that I've got in the house, and I also bought one of these tea scoops, so when I set up the loose tea I can do the same down here as I do in the house. But for the time being I've bought some tea bags. I don't know if I brought the gas with me. Right, let's have a look. Hope this works, because I've had it for about 2 weeks and now it's too late to send back if there's a fault with it. You've got to be careful with these fires. I've seen one of these fires explode. In fact, I was interviewing somebody, sadly she's died now, not from the fire. Lovely woman, and while I was interviewing her, in the background her sister was running out of her shed on the other side of the site with one of these on fire. Right, where did I put the gas? There it is. It's behind you. You're hiding it. Another thing I've found is this. Remember this? This is my sign that was sent to me by some viewers in Manchester. Rachel and family. Sadly, as you can see, It's a bit like us all now. The paint has faded. But I will still put it somewhere. In fact, what I might do is I might just keep it inside the shed, because if I put it outside, it'll just wear. Oh, it certainly feels like the old days, isn't it? I was thinking, I wonder how much these wood burning stoves are. You know, the ones where you take them camping? There you go. Now, not the best setup because it's on a plastic box. And that's waiting for a disaster. But, next thing, I don't recall putting in a kettle. So it'll be so much nicer in a few weeks where I can just come in, pop the kettle on, have a cup of tea. No, I haven't brought the kettle. After all that build up, I haven't brought the kettle with me. I thought I had. I thought when we moved a lot of things down. No. Oh well, that's the end of that, isn't it? Big build up and then a slow finish. At least I'll have everything here for the next time I come down. But I'm not going to give up just yet. At least I can have a cup of milk. I went down to Cherokee this morning to go and pick up some meat because I fancied a ham sandwich. I think I've already told you this. So I had my ham sandwich and then I watched a bit of the Victorian Kitchen Garden on DVD and went off to sleep. So I've had a good 2 or 3 hours sleep this afternoon. Just have to imagine this cup of tea. Oh. So yes, bit of a strange old day today. It feels like that period between Christmas Day and New Year's Eve. Anyway, I've got nothing else to say. I was going to make a nice cup of tea. Right. Well, thanks for joining me. And I'll catch up with you in a few days. So from me until then, bye for now. Beautiful.